Yes, we did. Okay, good evening, everyone. It is 6:31, Tuesday, August 22nd, 2023, and this is a Meadows Place City Council regular meeting. I want to call to order, announce we do have a quorum with the full council staff here, and we're going to stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance, and we're going to have an invocation. I've got to say that sign works very well. So to all of our visitors from Alaska and Meadows, Texas, and Colorado, we welcome you. Let's stand, and I'm going to ask our newest officer to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. She should be over her tasing by now. Okay. Go ahead.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing.
Lord, we thank you so much for who you are, all that you do. God, we thank you that you are always present, even when we may not recognize or see it. We especially take a moment to pray for everybody over in Hawaii, over in all the islands, because they are all impacted by everything that's happened there. And we just ask that you help them to feel your presence, help them to feel your presence. And God, we thank you for the way that you move everywhere. We know that you are here. We know that you're in Meadows Place, and we thank you for the ways that you are caring for our residents, and the ways you are caring for the staff, the volunteers, the first responders. Protect them and be with them. We ask that you bless this meeting tonight. You are here amongst us. We thank you for who you are. We thank you for all that you do. Amen.
Thank you, Jimmy. You go take care and get that kid off to school. Officer Chan, I want to remind you that you saying the pledge will be documented in the records for eternity. So you're there. Sorry. Wrong deal. I want to read a proclamation. Chief, I'm just going to read it from right here. I'm afraid the crowd would just get unruly if I got out there. This is important, and I don't mean to make light of it, because this is a proclamation celebrating National Night Out in 2023. And whereas the National Association of Town Watch sponsors a unique nationwide drug and violence prevention program entitled National Night Out, and whereas National Night Out is a national community building campaign, that is a great opportunity for citizens and law enforcement to partner up against crime. And whereas National Night Out promotes police-community partnerships, ensuing and enhancing relationship between neighbors and law enforcement while bringing back a true sense of community. Whereas Meadows Place Police Department plays a vital role assisting the Fort Bend County through joint crime, drug, and violence prevention efforts in Meadows Place, and in supporting the 40th annual National Night Out locally. And whereas it is essential that all citizens of Meadows Place be aware of the importance of crime prevention programs and the impact that their participation can have on reducing crime, drugs, and violence in Meadows Place. And whereas police community partnerships, neighborhood safety, awareness, and cooperation are important themes of the National Night Out program. Therefore, I, Charles Jessup, Mayor, do hereby invite the residents of Meadows Place to join Meadows Place Police Department and millions of Texas in supporting 2023 National Night Out on October 3rd, 2023, and do hereby proclaim Tuesday, October 3rd, 2023 as National Night Out in the city of Meadows Place. Chief, this is signed and it's ready for you, and I'm going to ask you to come get this. And I want to say one of the things that we do, Chief, is as a police department is deal pretty well in community policing. And I got to say, most of the time, social media sets me on edge. But when I saw our police out there playing Nerf wars with our community, man, that was fantastic. That is fantastic. I know my kids who are now 34 and something still remember their times at the corner and at the park and in the Meadows Night Out with our police officers. And they name them specifically. That's the type of impact our police officers had then and that y'all are having now. And I guarantee you there's not too many kids at school that say, I got to play Nerf gun with the cops yesterday. So congratulations on that. I know Cameron's going to work his tail off to get the word out, to get participation up with National Night Out, get the parties advertised and all that stuff. So if there's anything we can do, let us know. And since you're there, you might as well go ahead with the police department, huh?
I think I'm going to have to do the report. Good evening, Mayor, Council. The report this month is always, I'm going to start out with our number of accidents. We're down a little bit this month, 8. Number of arrests, 15. Calls for service is 2,209. We had 61 reports on traffic. There was 302 traffic with charges of 736. City ordinance violations, 3. Warnings issued for traffic was 116 with 183 charges. Warnings for city ordinance violation 6 for a total activity of 3,221. Our assaults are down for the second month. This month we had 0 assaults, 0 burglary of motor vehicle, 0 burglary of residence, 0 burglary of business. The 9 for the city ordinance, 1 criminal mischief, 1 fraud, 0 robberies this month. Total business checks was 1,801. Had 9 thefts, 1 UUMB, unauthorized use of motor vehicle. And on our TLC program, we had 62 contacts with 26 failing. We had 88 altogether. Breaking that down in the bottom there, you can see that our city ordinance breakdown for 3 were for junk vehicles, and they were tagged and complied. 3 were for solicitor, unable to locate. And with that, we did have 3 solicitors that were panhandlers, and those were issued citations. No accidents in the roundabout this reporting period, and the other accidents were throughout the city with 3 on private property or driveway related. Moving on to additional activity, if we can go to page 5. We'll go over our flock hits as usual, our safety alerts. We had 64, that's up 14 from the previous month. Stolen vehicle alerts, we had 18. Sex offender alerts, 16. Stolen plate, 14. Gang suspected terrorist alerts, 2. Missing persons, 1. 3 for warrant. 8 for protective order alerts. And out of a hot list for other agencies, 2. And 0 violent persons. I want to make note that right below that is a flock hit that I want to talk about 2 of them that led to arrest that did end up in pursuits. So I'm sure you're aware of that. It was put out. One of them, this vehicle in particular, the flock hit, was a stolen out of Houston. We did attempt to stop the vehicle, which it evaded, and the pursuit ended in Stafford on the first one, and the 2 suspects did flee. The next one, you can see that we had a stolen LP, and this one that we did pursue. The officer approached on foot and the vehicle sped away. The pursuit was conducted into Sugarland where the driver and the vehicle fled on foot. Our units, and with the assistance of Sugarland PD, and the suspect was taken into custody without incident. Next, page 6, we're in our actual total arrests. We're 15, up 7 from previous month. 0 were juvenile. As you can see, we'll go down the list here that we had warrants from other jurisdiction. possession of controlled substance with possession of prohibited weapon, PI, sex offender registration violator, DWI, walking in street resisting. We did have another warrant of at a other jurisdiction, another DWI. And then on page 8, you can see there was another evading with a flock kit. This one led into Sugarland. Then you can see the PCS, PI, PCS as we go down as each one goes through. One of the ones that I wanted to mention as well is the registration and evading on page 9. Now the vehicle was also, took a while for it to make several turns. We thought it was going to be a pursuit and ended up stopping, and we were able to take them into custody. Additional notes on page 10. We just finished our current training cycle. All our officers are in compliance,
Hey,
so
Chief,
we finished it early. Yes.
I understand I'm still on page 8. You're moving on.
Sure.
Might I understand that Officer Chan already arrested somebody and hauled them off to jail?
I believe she had her FTO with her, showing her exactly what to do. And I can tell you one thing: everything from Officer Chen has been a great job. So we're proud of her. She will be hopefully off the training program in probably another month or so,
Fantastic. Just wanted to
unless she wants to stay on it longer. But I don't think she does. She's doing great.
Thank you, Chief.
Yes. National Night Out, we just did the proclamation. We will be, of course, as every year we do, from 6 to 8 p.m., and we'll be riding around to each party, so we're encouraging our visitors, and we'll, of course, get with camera to put it out as well, that they come and list parties with us so that we know where they are so we could stop by as well. Shop 40, which is our new vehicle, we're still working through getting it upfitted. One of the issues that I'm going to go over just in a little bit on grants, and I'll tell you a little bit more about some of the issues we're running into. The Mesa door system should be complete. Of course, there are some minor software changes that are still in progress, and we had a couple of errors today that we're working through. Right now, too, we're going to be performing an assessment board for Sergeant on September 14th. So we've just listed that out. I put that out for our applicants and within the police department, and once they respond, we'll have that assessment board on the 14th with all the eligible participants. Meadows Police officers attended the 25th anniversary here at Sugar Grove Church. Of course, we partner with them on all kinds of things, and we'll continue to do so. It was a great event. We had several officers there. In fact, if you saw the post on Facebook that Cameron had done, it was a pretty good turnout. Officers, as you mentioned earlier, too, we participated in the birthday party with one of our young residents, and that was a great time, and it shows that, we're dedicated to our community policing model, and it works well. In fact, there's officers here that attended, so it was great to see that, and it looked like a lot of fun. Our grant status, one of the things that we're still waiting on, you can see the ones that are approved. We have the grant recorder approved. That was 52. And the dispatch grant is still under review for the console. I expect that would be coming in probably next month. We'll know whether we got that or not. The portable radio 10 that we asked for is still under review as well. And again, I think September, usually we get that into September, beginning of October. But we're also seeking a $250,000 grant for in-car cameras and body cameras, which is where I'm bringing you up to mentioning when I mentioned the shop that we're upfitting. Is one of the things that has taken place here recently is the current company that we're using for our in-car camera system is no longer going to be producing in-car cameras and body cams. While right now they'll take care with what supply they have to maintain what we currently are using, we can't upfit our car with their system because they're no longer in it. So we're going to have two different systems for a while until, and we're identifying that now, until we can see if we can get the opportunity to get this grant, which then will replace everything so it's on one system. But with that comes some more waiting. But with that completes the report.
I thought it was. That was a great question, wasn't it? Council, anybody have anything for Chief? Any questions?
I had one question, and I've seen it on regular reports. I know it's not our or your job to ask them, but Northern Tool, is there a reason they don't have any video on their property? They've had regular break-ins on a consistent. I see almost every month a break-in, and I always see investigation, but there's no video ever.
So they did have video cameras at one time, and sometimes they're up, sometimes they're down. But lately, I don't think they have an interest in it anymore, and we can't require them to have it. But it sure does help, because any place that has video in our investigations, sometimes we're able to actually catch the perpetrator. Okay. And they, as you can see, this is our normal theft areas, which is going to be Murphy's, Northern Tool, Walgreens, CVS.
All right. Thank you.
I have something. I just
Yes, ma'am.
wanted to say thank you, Chief. I recently reached out to you, and you and your officers helped me out. But I just really wanted to say thank you for the professionalism that not only you but your officers have. And it is very clear that not only do you guys keep us safe, but you love our community, which was evident by the birthday party. So I think that's a side of you guys that people don't get to see, and I really appreciate that, not only for me, but just the community in general. And the fact that you always follow up and make sure that things have been taken care of is a great thing. So I appreciate you and our police officers. So thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to piggyback on that real quick. Another thing I noticed is something I don't think any other city can say around us. This last month, 0 assaults, 0 burglary of motor vehicles, 0 burglary of business, 0 burglary of residence, and 0 robberies. What other city can say that around us? I mean, that's an incredible numbers. So thank you guys for being vigilant and staying on top of things. I love sharing those numbers with people, especially folks who ask me, is Meadows Place a safe place to live? Well, I can back it up with data, and it's a great feeling. So thank you, guys.
Thank you. We've got great officers.
I'll have to say that I think we got great leadership. So with that, Chief, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Item number 2 is Parks and Recreation. Colleen Cabezas will give us that report. Colleen?
Yes, sir. Good evening, Council and Mayor. This report covers Parks and Recreation activities from June through August. So in an event recap, and I always love to do these because it makes me realize, wow, time is just flying by. Kickoff to summer, believe it or not, was just a few short months ago. We had 400 people in attendance. We had great support from council. Thank y'all for participating and cooking. Y'all actually cooked 350 burgers and 200 hot dogs. PD, thank y'all for your support, and then also our Parks Department. It was a great event. This is an annual event that our city's been doing for many, many years, and our community has come to love and know. It has grown in regards to the style of event that it is, and this past year was our second year in the park, having a live band, and then also having the pool open and available for the community. So those that wanted to swim did, and those that wanted to hang out at the concert also did. And I believe that everybody was comfortable and happy. So again, council, thank y'all for your participation and cooking, because we couldn't have done it without y'all. A few numbers I'd like to throw out there now that summer is really at its end on the pool passes.
I'm sorry, what?
Summer is at its end, yes. Well, that doesn't mean the temperature is going to change. It just means kids are back in school. But as far as pool passes, we sold 1,072 passes, 1,072 individual passes. We had 12 pool parties this past year and 0 rainout days. It was a great season for us. The pool will be closing on Labor Day, so it is open this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, and then the following weekend through that Monday, and that will be the last day of the pool for the season. Summer camp. We had 242 campers over a course of 10 weeks of camp. Our expenses were $17,220. our revenue was $33,922. That program is an example of user-funded program. So all money that comes in covers the expenses of that program. And I just think that that's a really good number to look at to see the results and the use of a program like that for our community. July 4th Festival, we had, it's always hard to know the exact number, but between Chief and I, we say it was about 1,000 plus. In agreement there. In attendance, we had 12 food trucks, several community spirit booths, live band, a 12-minute fireworks show without incident, I'd like to say this year, and great departmental support. That event was supported by EDC funding and our general fund. Projects completed. We completed all phases now of the tennis court repairs. If you haven't driven by there, be sure to. No, it's not open quite yet. But during this process, we have changed out the lights to an LED. The court repairs and leveling, painting, striping, adding permanent pickleball courts. And we are now working on updating our social media, our fee schedules, and card purchasing procedures. We are planning to open the first week of September. That entire project was county funded, so we appreciate that. The Meadow Valley Park, the sidewalks have been installed. If you haven't driven by there, they look beautiful. It's a great addition to that park. Finishing touches are occurring this week, which is the installation of a water fountain and bike racks, and those should be in place by the end of this week. That park project was funded by EDC, Child Safety, and General Fund. Definitely take a walk by there. We did receive our new tractor. It was delivered last week, and we've already put it into good use. Kirk, they said they're going to be giving rides if you're interested. There you go. All right, upcoming projects. The first item I'd like to address is irrigation management. Parks and Public Works, we work together to mitigate issues during the intense heat that we're all dealing with. We utilize a third party to inspect, operate, and repair our current systems. Both departments communicate with the irrigator as needed, and he provides us with a monthly inspection report. Our irrigation does fail from time to time, and that becomes apparent when we see dying or dead vegetation and cracks in the ground. Currently, the baseball fields are suffering because of irrigation issues. The parks noticed that the grass was dying and cracks becoming apparent over the last few weeks. Parks made a request to the irrigator to increase the frequency and duration of the automatic irrigation. Public Works was discovered last Friday that the lake pump that runs the McGrath Park irrigation was not operating. Public Works issued a request for repair, and that was completed today. So we're happy to say that that is now operating and should get back on system to begin irrigating those areas. Additionally, Public Works will increase their oversight of the pump by performing a weekly maintenance check. So this is in addition to what they were already doing, in addition to the monthly report that we get from the irrigator. Now Public Works is going to be going in weekly to make sure that the pump is working accurately and appropriately. This will provide us a real-time awareness of the operating status of that system. Are there any questions in regards to the baseball fields?
But I do have a comment.
Yes, sir.
This has been a very stressful subject for me for a long time. I hate irrigation. That's part of it. It never works right. That's the other part of that. But I've never felt like I was completely satisfied that we were giving it the attention that it's due. I think the scenario you just read out, Colleen, working with you and with Public Works, with weekly checks. I know I've had private conversation with you on how you're going to get information and how often that you have finally conveyed to others the importance of what you're trying to do there. And working with Rod, I think Rod's having his guys go over there doing a weekly inspection is what it's going to take, because you sit down there and you go, well, irrigate and it goes on at 2 o'clock at night. Well, most of us are sleeping at 2 and we don't know whether it does or not. This will tell us, and I appreciate it. And I think this is what is going to be needed to raise our standards and keep them going and to produce the type of parks that I know you want out here. And thank you very much for the extra effort. I'm sorry baseball got dinged a little bit on this. We'll recover as best we can, and I just want to say thanks.
Thank you. Moving on, our sensory park installation, you've heard me bring that up several times. Is there a question? Sorry, I didn't see you.
That's okay. Thank you for jumping right on the baseball field thing, because I know I hadn't been out there since last season. We go out there and the grass looks like my front yard and all. I told them to contact you and you'd handle it. And of course, as usual, you do.
Thank you, Kelly. Anyone else on baseball? Okay, moving on. Sensory park installation. Y'all have heard me bring that up on the last few council meetings. It's happening. We're very excited. Next week, the installation of the new climbing hill and crawl-through tunnel will be installed. Musical instruments will go into the ground, boulders, and ground cover. We should complete that project, at least in that phase, by the end of September. The second phase, which will be in the new budget year, will also include additional picnic tables, benches, trash cans, things of that nature to continue to spruce up that area. This project is funded by EDC and General Fund.
Will the park be closed? Will that playground be closed throughout September?
The portions where we're working, we are cognizant that that's a gathering area for the school before and after school. So we will only close what's necessary, and our construction hours will be while school's in session. So it shouldn't affect the before and after, or minimal, is what we're trying to do.
Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. Painting of the field house. Kelly, you can pass that along to baseball as well. We will be painting the exterior of the field house. Same color, but it just needs a brush up, I guess. And then also the bathrooms. That will be completed in September. Foundation repair of the community center and the nature center is also slated to be completed in September. And then the well 2 landscaping installation. Currently, that's on hold right now due to some leaks that are happening over at that well, and that would impact possibly the new landscaping that's going on and or the construction that might have to occur to repair that. So
Talk to Rod about
that's
that
on hold.
tomorrow.
I'm sorry, repeat that?
Talk to Rod about that tomorrow.
Rod and I will talk to you about that tomorrow. Yes, sir. Okay. Upcoming events. October 14th, Fall Festival. By saying that word, we're hopeful that it's going to bring cool weather, right? So that's the Fall Festival and Bazaar. This event is one that we do partner with Home and Garden, Meadows Place Home and Garden Club, and they do the bazaar part of it, the craft vendors and those types of things. So we're looking forward to it. EDC also supports this event and so does our general fund. Our next event is the Children's Garden Pumpkin Patch, and that's hosted at the Nature Center. This is an event that the city supports, but the city does not operate. So the Children's Garden will begin October 14th and run through the 29th. It's only on Saturday and Sundays. In the front yard, they'll have the big pumpkin patch. And then they can also participate by going through the Nature Center, and they have some other activities for the kids to do during that time. And then finally, to round out the year is our Christmas Memories, and that is December 1st, so please mark your schedules for that. And that will be at McGrath Park, and snow and fun and all the good things that we've had in the past. And that completes my report. Are there any questions?
Colleen, I'm surprised at how much we covered that we just covered in 3 months and how much you got going on moving forward. I have a question about the pumpkin patch stuff. We did that for the first time last year. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Children's Garden did it for the first First time last October
And how
for
did
2
that go?
weekends.
I mean, they operated it as far as selling the pumpkins and all that, right?
They do. We provide the yard and access to the nature center in exchange for them to operate a pumpkin patch for the community. They go and either get sponsors or purchase their own pumpkins. Individuals come in and they pay a price for the pumpkin depending on the size of it. And then also get access to the nature center. And then in return, the Children's Garden takes that the monies that they collected and puts it back into the Children's Garden throughout the year, and that's for seeds or plants or whatever activities that they're doing out there with our community's kids at the Children's Garden.
And it went, as I recall, it went pretty smoothly, did it not?
I believe so, and to my knowledge, they collected almost $500.
That got poured right back into our community garden.
Correct.
Well, I think that's an outstanding program, and I think that that's a good example of you working with other people to outsource and bring things into this community for the community. And I thank you very much. I think that's phenomenal. She does a great job, and her name is
Kristen Stegmeyer.
Kristen Stegmeyer, and I think she's a tremendous partner with you on that. And when you see her, tell her I said thank you, will you?
Absolutely.
Unless she's watching here. Okay, thank you, Colleen. Anybody got anything for Colleen? All right.
Thank you, Council.
Oh, and the one everybody's been waiting on? Fire Department report. We have had a little bit of activity. We had 67 incidents between the last range in basically July to, and that's a little bit higher, but 37 of them were for medical assist EMS. I just can't begin to say how glad I am that we are sitting here with an EMS station located in Meadows Place. And Chief, I got to bring it up because there's a couple incidents that matter of them getting there quickly made a difference. And as you recall, when Sugar Land spun off, our response times in that area jumped from, unacceptable, borderline unacceptable ranges. And now they're back way down. And that was because we moved our police department out of that building. And the chief and I got to say, Assistant Chief Ashton, since you're there, you were always gracious, but I know you were grumping about it too. I was too, but I thought it was the only way we could make it happen. And the cooperation of the chief and the assistant chief in moving our police officer training out of there, figuring out things to do and places to go and ways to have it until we got the new facility was just what it took to get it done. And this is an example of it. 37 out of these 57 were EMS responses. And those folks were there in a hurry, and they wouldn't have been without the teamwork of the council, PD, to get that happen. So thank you, council, back then, and thank you, Chief, since y'all are still here. We had additional incidences. We did have some public services. We did have a rescue. We did have some calls that were released because they really didn't need to be there, but they were there and they responded. So overall, our status range is good. They're working with us fine, and we have a good one. And Rod, didn't y'all fix something over there, the door or something at the fire station this last week?
Yes, sir. Replaced some boilers, big doors.
And you did that in a proactive maintenance point of view?
Yes, sir. I have them check it on a quarterly basis. That's one of the recommendations.
And they hadn't hit it or anything?
Right.
And they hadn't hit the door or anything? All right, just checking. Well, thank you very much for staying in touch with it. We do look after that fire station over there and the EMS building as well. try to make it as comfortable for those folks as possible, because they are sitting there waiting to go put their life on the line. That concludes the fire department monthly report. Nick?
Thanks, Mayor. First, I just want to say that we've been seeing a lot more of each other the last several weeks than we usually do. So on behalf of the staff, I want to thank you all, council, for your service and for dedicating your time to us. I was reminded last week I went to a TCMA, or a city manager group that meets periodically. They have luncheons every so often, and I went to one last week. And when I go to those, I'm always reminded when hearing stories from not all, but some of the other cities in the area, what a blessing Meadows Place, Texas is. And I just wanted you all to know that. The other thing I learned is that this council has given staff a great deal of support through the budget process that not every city gets, and so I want to appreciate all of you for that as well. Hearing stories from other cities is always interesting, and being able to share with other cities is always interesting too. So had one city, which I will not name, who let us all know that they have been through 7 full-day budget sessions, and they are not done yet. So I want to thank you all for your support on behalf of staff. I'll let that speak for itself. Do want to mention the drought. Not long ago, Cameron put out something that I think bears repeating here. We are not under any mandatory water restrictions right now, and I want to emphasize that. Now, any water restrictions or any water rationing that people do is entirely voluntary at this time. And I want to emphasize that the city is not in a situation where we're close to doing any mandatory. As you know, all of our water is groundwater. And so at this time, we're very well meeting capacity. And so I want to emphasize that. From an infrastructure perspective, there's no question that all over the place, the drought is impacting infrastructure, everything from houses to roads and water and wastewater facilities. I don't think we're going to really know the extent of the impact until we get to a more regular weather pattern and everything swells back up. But we'll certainly do we'll certainly do an assessment when that occurs. But we're certainly also hearing something else I learned in my luncheon last week is sort of the impact that this is having on cities all over the place. I don't think you need to look any further than Fulshear this week to understand some of the impact that's been going on with water. Something interesting happened a few weeks ago that I wanted to mention to you guys because I felt like it was kind of a success story. We got notice from our bank that a check that had my name on it and your mayor's name on it was attempted to be fraudulently cashed in the amount of $24,500. We didn't write that check, but our name was on it. And so
it was on the signature. It wasn't made out to you.
No, it wasn't made out. It wasn't made out to you. It was made out to individual. But I just wanted you guys to know that somebody did attempt to fraudulently cash that check. The bank caught it. They stopped it. It was a success story, and so I wanted you guys to know that there are checks and balances in place there. This is the first time I've ever had my my name on a check that was fraudulent, so it was a bit spooky. But just wanted to mention that it was a good thing that we caught that. You can't see it here, but behind the doors over there, we're doing a little bit of renovation work in City Hall. I'm told that the women's restroom is getting some much-needed renovation. And so we've got some contractors in there basically doing a complete rehaul of the women's restroom. And I'm told that it's going to be a good thing, although I don't get to use it. And so after that, we'll be doing some maintenance in the hallway. We'll also be doing some renovation up in the court area. The desk heights up in the court area need to be adjusted. They're not the correct height, and so we're going ahead and making adjustments to those, certainly for the benefit of our employees who spend a lot of time up there, and so that's going to be a big benefit. Special thanks to staff for contributing to this and quite frankly expressing their needs. And this money is coming out of our City Hall maintenance budget, so this is all within budget. We're happy to make improvements inside City Hall. The last thing I want to mention is that today we did do a bid opening for the wastewater treatment plant at 2 o'clock. We got one bid. It's from a company called that bid amount for the base was $3.3 million, $3.345. With all of the add alternates in there, which would basically include everything we want, which includes all of the the control valves that we want to get in there bumps it up to 4.275. So we're going to have to make that decision. As you know, we've been working with the county. We've got the interlocal going. So HDR is going to go ahead and do their part to go ahead and get us the letter. There's only been one bidder, so we know what it's going to say. But they're going to do the checks, make sure everything checks out on the sheets, and get us some information back. But I wanted you guys to be aware of that. So we'll have a decision to make here pretty soon. But that's the bid that came in, and that's my report tonight, Mayor.
Well, I will say the past week or so has been extraordinarily interesting.
Stressful, Mayor, is the right word you're looking for.
Well, I was going to use interesting. And I want to give you a compliment, Nick. I think you've handled this stuff very well. I'm excited that we got a bid. Council, I'm always disappointed when we don't get 3 or 4 or 5. And you think 3.4 million is a lot of money. I don't know if y'all do any bids that big or not. But it's hard right now. Contractors are booked. Supplies are still hard, and I'm thrilled that we got one. We got a hard bid in, and that's good. I know Rod was happy. And I want to thank Courtney and everybody for putting together the bid packet and getting it out there. I want to move on to budget tax rate. City Meadows Place is actually a pretty complicated little city. We do a little bit of just about everything that big cities like Sugar Land and Houston do. We've got a lot going on in a lot of areas. You've heard some of it covered tonight, both in Public Works and our parks and PD, and how many things we've got going on. Our city finance director, Anna Maria Weston, is not here tonight, so I'm going to brag on her just a little bit. This is the budget pack that council got. You know, Brandon, I know y'all have probably never seen one this good. We'll let you look at it before you go, but you can't have it. But City of Meadows Place is, from the time I've started here, and this was actually done on a dot matrix printer. If we got a printout, no, we did, I'm pretty sure, to what we've got now. And I want to encourage everybody that's here tonight, everybody that's online, any staff and neighbors, to take a look at this budget. There's a lot of work that's gone in there. We started on this back in May? And we didn't have 7 days a week, 7 or full day budget, but we have had a lot of budget meetings. The staff started on that, and it's really done a great job. It includes, beside the mayor's comments and timeline, which I know is an important reading in there, but it's got historical trends. It's got 5-year utility rate plan. It's got operating expenditures and the fund structures completely listed through here, and all the details are there, plus an overall budget page summary. So it's an easy, quick read. I'm proud of the fact that our budget is put together so well. I'm not a numbers guy, so I'm the least qualified to look at it. And if I can read it, that means anybody can. And if anybody in all these department heads, and I'm kind of speaking to y'all, I really appreciate all the efforts y'all put into it and double checking. And now I'll be watching this next month to see if y'all keep to what last year's was, because y'all are creeping up there. But we do have directors in our departments that understand, know how to operate a budget, and they work off of it, and it's to try to make council happy. Anyway, that's all I have to say is that I'm very proud of our budget. We're here at a tax rate. We're going to be settling that tonight, and you can tell by the overflow crowd it's something of interest. But it's hard. It's hard in a little 1 square mile city to do what we do. And you heard tonight, and I'm leading on into B, funding sources. We had somebody complain at us a little while back that, well, y'all are spending too much of my tax money. And the item they were griping about didn't contain a penny of their tax money. And whose fault was that? That's ours. Well, Cameron and Nick got together, and I have to say, is Cameron said, well, I can fix that. I'll just start mentioning it. And we've started seeing that. And you've heard tonight, EDC, Child Safety General Fund, Mobility Bond Project, Parks Bond Project. We had 3 items out there. We had the floating dock. We had the tennis court. And what else did we get? The field house. Got a brand new roof on a 50-year-old field house, or 40-something years. And all of that was covered through a parks bond, not City of Meadows Place. Our department heads go out and fight for these funds, fight for these bonds, fight for these grants to pull them in here and use them, as well as anybody I've ever seen. I know I sit down and talk at lunch with mayors, and boy, some of these cities that have got a full staff chasing this, well, they're a little more successful, but they got 7 of them running around looking for money. We do a great job of it. We just had something this year where PD exceeded over $1 million in grants that they've gone out and searched. And now you're starting to see where the City of Meadows Place is telling its residents where this funding's coming from. We're mentioning it more and more often, as you heard tonight. So as you look through these things, look for that funding source, and you'll see that your staff, your council, are doing a great job of utilizing funds that we raise and funds that we get from internal. So the funding sources are out there. We're doing the best we can, and I think City of Meadows Place does a better job than almost any other city around, especially for our size, or of our size especially. So that's it for me. I'm going to move on to council comments, and Rick, you got A and B.
All right, Dorrance Phase 1, no change. Contractor still has not got his paperwork in. Still doesn't want his $100,000. Dorrance Phase 2, we're going to have to evaluate that based on Nick's report of the bid for the wastewater treatment plant, how we fund that shortfall if we want to do the add alternate items, and just figure out what that means to the Phase 2 Dorrance project. Dorrance Phase 3, most of you have heard we did receive we are on the list for the 2023 Fort Bend County Mobility Bond for $3 million. So if the voters approve that bond in November, the county's going to pick up most of the Phase 3 portion of the project. So any questions on Dorrance?
Remind me, Phase 3, would that be from the roundabouts to Amblewood?
That is the goal. That's what we'll design, and then we'll have to evaluate what the bids look like at that point in time. The county won't pay for the water lines, so that'll come out of Fund 300, and so that's also going to impact us a little bit. How much money we've got to spend on this wastewater treatment plant, and so. If the bond passes in November, we can probably get access to the design funding early 24, and obviously we won't have to replace the water lines then. We'd probably be looking at construction in 25 at the earliest, and so we might have enough time to get some additional money in, get some money moved around as needed.
Thank you.
The 2000 mobility bond project we had, which is our bikeway, which goes from Kirkwood down along the bayou and then Montecito south to West Airport and then continues on through Stafford down to Fountain Lake. We had a meeting with the consultant last week, I believe. They're making current changes, trying to finish up the design on the bridge. Couple of questions on the gate we want on the bridge, things like that. And hopefully we'll see what I'll probably call a 95% review next month, hopefully. At that point, if we're happy with it, we'll get them to submit it to Centerpoint for their review. That's probably going to be another lengthy process to get Centerpoint to buy off on it. Probably going to have to do a little bit of additional survey now that the power lines are on West Airport. That impacts how we're going to design that sidewalk. And so we'll have to, it's easier to do it on paper, so it's worth paying for the survey rather than trying to fix it in the field. That just gives your contractor a chance to say, oh, that's a change order and here's how much it's going to cost you. So, any questions on the bikeway? Okay.
I will repeat all of that. We are having a public hearing. If you feel like speaking, come up, speak into the microphone. Give us your name and your address. This is a public hearing for the proposed tax property rate for the city of Meadows Place, Texas, 2023.
Mayor, at this time, the proposed tax rate sits at 0.79961. That is all M&O. There is no INS or debt portion of the rate, as the city carries no debt at this time.
I'm going to kind of cut to the chase. Do y'all want to come up and talk on the tax rate? I'm calling this public hearing to an end. Okay. So closing public hearing. And moving on. That was pretty easy. Moving on to item F, regular agenda. We're going to conduct a separate vote to ratify the tax rate, to ratify the property tax increase reflected in the 2023-2024 budget adopted August 15, 23. Have I got one of those read it things? No. No, there it is. Okay. This is a call vote to approve the ordinance 2023-32. No? Well, wait a minute. What am I doing? Oh, here it is. This is to ratify the property tax increase of 6.6% reflected on the municipal budget for fiscal year 2023-24, adopted August 15, 2023. I need a motion and a second, and then I will call upon each alderman to name take a record vote. Do I have a motion? All right, thank you, Ted. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, David. Corners came through. Okay. Alderman Baker, state your vote.
Aye.
Alderman Mills, state your vote. Aye. Alderman Stagley.
Aye.
Alderman Kopczynski.
Aye.
Alderman Mertens.
Aye.
There's nobody missing. We've got a unanimous vote, all ayes. You got that recorded? Okay. That was what? That's ratified. Now we're moving on to ordinance 2023-32, providing a property tax rate for the levy and collection of ad valorem taxes by the City of Meadows Place, Texas for the year 2023. Council, you've adopted the budget. And to set that, the vote, we're going to have another record vote. And this is going to increase property taxes to the budget amount of $243,611, which is a 6.6% increase over last year, even though the rate went down a little bit. So, to approve ordinance 2023-32, providing a tax rate of 0.79661, 79961, and levy the collection of the ad valorem taxes by the City of Meadows Place for the year 2023. I need a motion and a second, and then we will call upon each council member by name. Motion by Rick, second by Kurt. Councilmember Baker, state your vote.
Aye.
Councilmember Mills.
Aye.
Stagley.
Aye.
Mr. Kopczynski.
Aye.
David.
Aye.
Okay, everybody is there. This is a record vote that has now been carried and recorded by the city secretary, so we're moving on. Okay, discussion and consideration regarding signed ordinance changes. We had this issued to us, and I'm assuming the council has reviewed this signed ordinance. We do have legal help here in case we need to ask any legal questions. Brandon, we appreciate you being here. Council, unless you have any questions, comments, or going over, I'm going to ask for a motion.
Just discuss.
We're just
Discussion only right
discussing? Okay, any discussion?
Yeah, I was going to just point out the fact for those that probably haven't read this, that this was a needed change. We started on it months ago. We had a lot of assistance from Nick and the staff, but also from the Rundle Law Firm. Looked at lots of other cities, looked at the federal, state, and other laws that govern signage, and have come up with, I think, a really good plan that allows us to regulate what we can and sets aside things that we can no longer stipulate in our ordinance. So this is really updating a long-needed review of signage in the city, and gives us a lot of ability to clarify a lot of the things. And I just want to say thanks for the background work and literally the reams of paper that we had to go through to kind of come up with this final draft, definitions, and what I think is a really thorough ordinance that is going to replace some stuff that's outdated. And it also means less government. I think that's an important aspect. This no longer requires the planning and zoning team to then forward it to us. We're now directly responsible for the changes, the requests, and the special needs that haven't happened. And I think it simplifies a lot, and again takes out a layer of government that I think is good for our residents. So with that, I'll stop my discussion or pontificating.
I'm glad you mentioned the fact that it no longer lives under planning and zoning, but lives in our code of ordinances. That simplifies it greatly. Anybody else have anything? I got a couple questions here.
Not a question, but assuming this passes, how are we going to get this information out to the businesses so that, one, they know that there's a change, and two, what those changes are?
I'm not going to make any special effort to go out to businesses, Rick, as they come in And they'll be talking to our permits clerk. Our permits clerk will guide them to that. Most of them, as you well know, go to the sign sections first before they come to the city. They look at what they're dealing with.
I'm talking about our existing businesses.
We'll just send code enforcement around there and say, hey, by the way, it's changed. How's that?
I would rather it come from EDC rather than code enforcement.
From EDC?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll talk to that old geezer that leads it and see what we can do.
Just
Plus, you got two members sitting right here that can get
obviously
involved.
This has a potential to enhance how they advertise. I think the message would be better coming from EDC rather than code enforcement.
Tia, what's your thoughts? You sit on both.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I do think that it should come from EDC. I think it's their job to kind of look after the businesses, and if there's a change as significant as this, I don't see why EDC couldn't reach out to them.
And what form would that take?
Well, it would pretty much have to be person to person, I think, because we don't have a lot of really great contact information. So it might just be EDC splitting it up and taking a couple businesses and going by, which I think is also a great way to do it anyway. So
We've done that in the past on things, and it's been very well received. So that's what you're suggesting? Mm-hmm. Eric, what's your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. I think that's the right way to do it. And I think we just print this out just like we have here, hand it to whoever's the manager that day, and hopefully it gets in the right hands, and let them know to contact us, of course, if they have questions.
Having a cover sheet kind of going over the major changes, I think, would be helpful to the businesses.
Yes.
Otherwise, if it's a manager, he's just going to go, okay, and...
Now, we'll get with our communications director to come up with a cover sheet that says something like, easier to use, less government, boo government.
Maybe a letter from the chair of EDC, and in that letter is a summary, something like that.
Oh, that might be better.
I'm sure he'll love it.
All right, I do have a couple of questions on this. Can a contractor put up a sign in my yard under this? It says Joe Blow's whatever, leaf grooming.
Brandon, I think what he's talking about is essentially yard signs inside someone's residential property.
Yeah, so that would be in residential, so
yeah.
Yes, you could.
You could.
Even though it's a commercial advertisement?
Well, because of the location of it, that it is on a residential property, you still would be able to do that.
And can we charge a fee for that?
I believe the only permits are for commercial signs that are not on residential property.
I understand that I'm a lone wolf and I'm the only one that this bugs.
And without a vote.
Yes, and I have no vote. But I wanted to just clarify that. I do want to clarify item 7 on page 12. Where it says commercial complex identifiers. Most of this stuff is fairly straightforward, but we do have some that are broken out. I'm going to take, for instance, the property up here where the dog park is. If somebody were to build on that side of the property and put a little business complex in there, they own the whole, both sides. And if they have signs on, what would that be, the south side of Dorrance, but the businesses are on the north side of Dorrance, how do they put signs up? Or is it based?
Well,
they'd probably be able to put up signs per business.
Per business.
Per building.
It says individual establishment, and if I'm reading it right, nothing herein prohibits any establishment from having a separate freestanding sign on premises. So that would allow them to put signs on the north side out by the premises.
As long as it's on the premises.
And not on our right-of-way or anything like
Correct.
that. And what if there's, let's say, 3 businesses in there, and they want them all advertised out by Dorrance? They'd be able to put something like a a monument sign covering all three businesses or something like that?
If it's on the premises, they can.
Okay. Okay. I had assumed that, but I didn't. It's all legal stuff, and you guys, I can't figure out what you're doing. I have a question on item number 3, on variances on page 22 and 23. Now, to whom is the variance requested?
City Council.
To City Council.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you go to page 21, it talks about variances and procedural review.
City Council is final authority.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody wanted to make an appeal for or request a variance, the procedures for them to request a variance to City Council, and they would sit here and make the variance here.
I would call that a semi-final decision. Anyone can appeal to the court system beyond City Council.
Yeah, I mean, you can go to district court if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But.
Administrative appeal is what we would call that to City Council.
Right. And then obviously the criteria by which you guys would, or the City Council would judge that is going to be found on page 22, where it gives you some criteria, some considerations is what they call it.
Okay. I think that answers me, because that's the same list as we had when they stood before the Board of Adjustments. But basically, it's no longer in there. It's in here, and it comes to council. And we can tell them we don't care if it's going to cost you more money.
Right.
You can't have it or you can.
Right.
Okay. That's all. Page 24. Let me glance one other thing on page 24. Excuse me. Okay. On 24, I do have a question, and that's on enforcement of violations and penalties. That's 155.102, Brandon, where it says if a party puts a sign up and they fail to remove it within 72 hours, or a presumption clause, item D, in the right-of-way on a utility pole or private property shall be prima facie evidence that the responsibility of the responsible parties who placed the sign up. So if I walk up and it goes Bob's Dog Grooming, and it's stuck on a sign pole, does this tell me I can go write Bob's Dog Grooming, or Bob with Bob's Dog Grooming, a violation?
You were under 102, did you say A?
155 dash.
Yeah, 155, 102.
And I'm down at D.
D, okay.
So while Brandon's thinking, go ahead.
Depending on the location, so if it is, basically if it's on your property.
If it's a telephone pole out in our right-of-way.
Okay, let me make sure I'm on the right section here. Okay, D.
Probably should have asked you this before, but I didn't think about it. Bob,
well, so yes, if it's not technically on a person's property; it's on public property. So the person who placed it would then be the liable party.
Hey, here's what we run into in the real world. I didn't put it there. I just hired a sign company and they put it there. But if I'm reading this right, it says that if it's even on private property, shall be prima facie evidence that the responsible party is who unlawfully placed or erected the sign. That means I don't care if I paid Colleen to go hang it. She's not responsible for the ticket I am.
That's absolutely right.
Is that correct?
Yep.
So,
and so I think we're getting too far into the realm of adjudicating this citation. So we can issue the citation to whoever we think we should issue the citation to. Whether or not they're convicted of it is really something that happens.
That's up to the courts, and I got all that. But this is telling me that I'm not. I have some authority to do that. And if the guy says, well, you can't write me a ticket which is what we run into, I can say, I'm sorry, go look at 155.102 item D, and yeah, buddy, I can.
That's right. And
I'm happy.
Sure.
And I'm writing that baby.
Whether or not the ticket sticks is not up to us.
That's
we can
right.
certainly write the ticket on anybody that we think we need to write the ticket
But
to.
you mean that guy's going to have to take off from his time, and he's going to have to come in here to court, and he's going to have to hire a lawyer, and we're going to have Jennifer there.
Well, and Mayor, some of that, the enforcement of it, the remedy of that sign, in addition to the ticket, that there's a removal process that's spelled out in A, and that is really the crux of it, is that the sign can be removed, and there's reason and there's regulations on that now. So in addition to the ticket, sign can be removed or be asked to be removed.
If they don't move it out in 72 hours, we can. If we're going to go with the ticket business, then we'll go ahead and suffer through that 72 hours. But we'll document it that it's there on Monday, and then on Thursday morning that baby's coming down and they're getting a citation. I just wanted to make sure that I was reading this right.
You are.
Because we run into that a lot.
Well, and being this falls under my supervision at work, there are certain things you should do prior to removing that sign. Take a photo of it, document it. That way you've got your evidence that you can present in court. If you just go to court, hand a sign and say this was in the right of way, you're probably going to get that ticket kicked.
Sure.
So if Jennifer needs some procedural recommendations, let me know and I can come in.
Actually, she does that pretty darn well, Rick,
Okay.
as far as documenting what she's doing. I mean, she'll walk in with a stack of papers about this high, and I just needed to know, did we see it?
Good.
But, okay, that's all I wanted to know, because I'm not expecting the city to get wealthy off the tickets. But I do want to be able to make it at least uncomfortable for those people to mess up our city. I don't like it.
Do we still have the option to just remove it?
Yeah.
Okay,
absolutely.
so we can still remove it immediately if we
Sure,
wanted
particularly in the right of way, we can move it immediately.
to. Okay,
Absolutely.
good.
It's just, if you've got a frequent flyer, sometimes it's worth writing them the ticket and make them come in and spend a little time
Yep.
to get their attention.
And that's what we get, Rick. You bet it is. So, and Jennifer goes out there several times a week, runs the perimeter, and that's why if I see one, or sometimes the PD will, or say, hey, there's a sign here. But if they're a frequent flyer, as you said, I just want to make sure I tell her right, and I have. Okay, that's it.
And going to page 23, 155, 100, the violations, this is a question that often comes up. Violation is $200 per day per sign. How you actually enforce that gets difficult. I've had some people say you have to issue a citation every day in order to get that $200 logged in. Because truthfully, by the time you get to court, 30, 60, 90 days out,
180.
that's a lot of effort for your staff member
Yep.
to do that if you're going to try to collect every day. A lot of times you run up enough of a cost to make it worthwhile, and then you don't necessarily continue every day. Run them up to $1,000 and then just wait for your court date.
Something like that, yep.
And really, the reason that's there each day is a new violation is to give you the option to. It doesn't mean the city has to write a new
Correct.
ticket every day.
Now, we got that part down. We got that part to understand it, both from PD and code enforcement side. I just wanted to make sure that I was reading that right, and I was. Okay. Now I forgot where I was. We're done with the discussion. Unless somebody else has some discussion on the sign ordinance. Nope. David, thank you for your input and your comments on this. This was a lot of work. And so that takes us to item 4. Discussion and consideration of ordinance 2023-33, amending City of Meadows Place Code of Ordinances by repealing Chapter 153 signs, Section 153.190 through 153.199, appendices A through D, and adopting a new Chapter 155 signs. So,
I'll make a motion that we approve that.
Motion to approve by David, second by Kelly. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
Yay.
Item number 5, we're going to table this, awaiting further input from our legal team. Moving on to...
So if you have a motion to table, that means it automatically comes back at the next meeting. You can always just bypass it as well, and that doesn't mean it automatically comes
Didn't
back.
I just do that? So, then we're passing
You
on
can
that.
just skip on by.
Item 5 is pulled from the agenda. Item 6, discussion consideration on ordinance 2023-35, amending the schedule of fees by adding a monthly infrastructure fee, amending fees for parks and recreation, and removing the fees from Chapter 115.
Yeah. So basically what my recommendation to you is that you go ahead and amend it, but don't touch the utility infrastructure fee. So everything can be amended except for that utility infrastructure fee item. And we'll take that up when it's time.
So
just
we need
strike
a
that.
motion and then have an amendment to the motion?
So as long as you make it clear in your motion that you are adopting schedule of fees aside from that utility and infrastructure fee, then you can do it that way.
Yeah, just say it's a motion approving the ordinance as amended by removing the utility infrastructure fee.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve this ordinance, removing the mention of the utility infrastructure fee.
Have a motion without the infrastructure fee. Do I have a second? Second by Kurt. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries unanimously. And wow, that's kind of complicated. Item 7, discussion and consideration of resolution number 2023-16, declaring surplus property and authorizing the sale and disposal of surplus property. Council, where am I at? Surplus property. We have...
I can't believe you guys think this iPad first edition is outdated.
We got rid of that last month.
Move to approve.
Motion by Rick. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Rick. Discussion and consideration resolution 2023-17, authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Lemons Auctioneers LLC and Online Pros agreement per buy board number 708-23 to auction city property declared surplus. Basically, this is putting us in the contract, and it expires starting September 1st, expiring end of August of 2024. So if council will so motion, then we'll get this contract.
I'll move. Make a motion.
For approval by David.
Second.
Second by Kurt. Any discussion on this?
One question. For the signs that were considered surplus, do we want to just turn that in, or do we want to do that at one of our events? Auction it to residents?
I think we should at least give the opportunity to some people to, to be able to have some of the signs.
Because there's...
Haven't we done that before? Wasn't that?
Yeah, we've auctioned signs before. Because, people might bid on a stop sign or their street name sign or something like that, even if we get $5-10 for it.
The Kirkwood signs went. I bought one of the Kirkwood stop signs, and I think it was $50 or $100.
Yeah, I think it was about $100.
Yeah, but those are iconic. These are just.
We don't have to auction them through Lemons. Do we have to auction them through Lemons, or can we have an auction ourselves?
No, you could do it yourself. So you've already made the declaration that it's
surplus.
Surplus.
Yeah, we have
so
to declare it surplus.
there's no problem with doing it
We're good. Great recommendation, Rick. Way to back him up to you.
So the question is, do we need to amend the motion to everything except the signs?
So
We're still going to be auctioning.
this is just to enter into the agreement. So you can approve the agreement, and those items can just be left out of that agreement
When we hand them in. Because we might have something else come up in between now and
They'll
then.
still help us auction the tractor and the other stuff.
Right.
but yeah.
Okay.
So we are back into we have a motion and a second. Is that correct? And that's on item number, 7? 8. Oh, yeah, there it is. I'm sorry, I didn't mark it off. So I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Good catch and good questions. Now we're ready to roll. And passed unanimously. Discussion and consideration item number 9 of ordinance 2023-26, amending the general fund budget for fiscal year ending September 30th, 2023, increasing line item 100-060-580-000 parks improvement, $8,750 from general fund balance for foundation repairs to the community center. We have a motion to pony up for the foundation repair. Motion approved by Rick.
Second.
Second by Tia. Any discussion on this? You're still certain of the pricing?
That's actually for the
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
And based on the number of foundation trucks I see around the city, everybody's getting it done.
That's the truth. Yeah. Item number 10. Discussion and consideration of resolution 2023-18, amending certificate pay and academic pay policy. This has been a long study. Council, this is way beyond me. You've got a great summary in front of you. I'm assuming everybody's read it.
Move to approve.
Okay, got a motion to approve. Second by David. Any further discussion?
We've discussed it for hours.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? You get your certificate pay after months. Okay. That takes us on to consent agenda item. Do I have a motion to pass the consent agenda? Motion by Tia. Second by Kurt. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Now it comes down to item H. To nobody.
Well, I'm going to back up to item 2B real quick. I remembered something.
Item what?
2B, the bikeway. Based on the design that CenterPoint submitted for their phase 1 project of the pipeline, I don't think we're going to have a problem with them boring underneath our parking lots. So therefore, we won't have to wait on that project once we get approval by CenterPoint.
What parking lot? We're putting in a parking lot?
They were going back about 100 feet from each street crossing with their bore pits. So I really don't think we'll have an issue.
Okay. So can I get excited or should I just wait?
I would wait until we get approval from CenterPoint on the
wait.
design.
I'll wait. Chief, I'm excited. Thank you, Rick. I appreciate that update. All right. I'm assuming council has no audience comments. Is that correct? Then I'm moving on. If there's no objections, this meeting is adjourned. Brandon, thank you very much for attending. You can go back and tell Grady this is the best run meeting you've ever seen.